Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Grab a cold one, crank up the volume, and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. And here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
Go Big Red, indeed. No block, no rock. Episode 224. Coming at you from the NBNR studio in Omaha, Nebraska. Do I look weird?
You look royal. You look like a king.
Crown me. Guys, before we get into it, Nebraska Brewing Company is our primary sponsor. Ale Storm. I'm drinking the Ale Storm. The weather's getting nice. Baseball season is in full swing.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that. Drinking that Ale Storm. Mike, what you got?
I'm also drinking the Ale Storm.
Hey, look at you.
And I'll talk a little bit about our other sponsor, Draft Top. I already did it, but I removed the top off my beer with this awesome tool from Draft Top, which is one of our sponsors here at No Block, No Rock.
And you didn't make a mess.
I didn't make a mess. No, I had to show our guests how to do it. So I was like, I might as well just do it before we get live. But yeah, no, I'm drinking the Ale Storm. It is a beer brewed specifically for the Omaha Storm Chasers, who is a AAA affiliate of my favorite baseball team, the Kansas City Royals.
People say America's favorite baseball team.
I wouldn't disagree. So
Relax.
So Connor, what you got over there?
So I'm drinking a Cardinal, and Mike, touches on the Draft Top stuff. And if you guys have not seen the show before in the last 3 weeks now, since Draft Top has become a sponsor, I have it on my can right now. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Hopefully, to remove this lid, you just crimp down and spin,
Twist,
and it's going to come loose.
It's
And I just got to lift up, and then just like that,
boom,
no
boom.
spillage. And I can't tilt the can, unfortunately, because I would spill the beer. But you can see, I don't know if you can, the lid's just right in there, and it is now like it's a glass.
Yes.
So it's really fun because you get to drink your beers faster, but it's also better for the beer.
Yes.
Because you get a better aroma, you get to taste it better.
Just like NBC originally, when their cans came out, they had the 360 tops. This does that without having those tops.
So we had a discussion in the brewery about this Draft Top stuff over the last week. And we think the Draft Top is actually better than the 360 lids because the 360 lids would always leave this ridge inside the can, right? So you couldn't get all of the beer out. But Draft Top cuts in the middle. It's a smooth edge. You're not going to cut yourself. You can run your finger around the top of it all you want. You're not going to cut yourself. But it doesn't have that little gap. So you can get all of the beer out.
I love that.
We do have an affiliate link, which will be posted in the episode description. It's on our social media, whatever. But they're wildly cheap for the handhelds that I just used. Like $15-$20, I think.
Yeah.
Something like
they're
that.
cheap. And if you buy one, you support the pod.
Yeah.
KB, what you got over there?
I'm drinking the EOS Hefeweizen. It's the go-to. I did not use the Draft Top because clearly last week I made a mess.
It was your first time.
It was my first time.
It was your first time.
My first
you were
time.
nervous.
Yeah, I was a little nervous. So yeah, no, I spilled everywhere. But drinking the EOS Hefeweizen, and I know there's somebody else in the room that's also drinking the EOS.
That'd be me.
Welcome,
ladies and gentlemen. Steve Marik.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome.
Covers Husker Athletics for Inside Nebraska, or Rivals, as many people might know it. You're also drinking the EOS Hefeweizen. How's it taste?
I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
I'm really liking it. It's pretty smooth, I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm enjoying it. Might have another one.
Yeah. Well,
Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
that's, in my opinion, is the best beer at Nebraska Brewing Company. Connor will lie and say it's not. His family owns the place, but no, that is literally the best beer at the brewery. It's kind of got like a little banana smooth flavor. It's good.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
It is. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for driving from Lincoln
Yeah.
to Omaha.
I was worried that I wasn't going to get here in time because of the traffic.
Yeah.
Trying to get out of Lincoln and get on the interstate was absolutely horrid. But I'm here, and I had a slice of pizza already.
That's
So,
good.
Boom.
Yeah,
That's
you
what we
made it
do,
with time to
right?
spare. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Connor, help me out. World class.
in every glass.
All right, let's get into it, fellas. We got the crowns on. You know, a lot of people might say at this time of year, they might say, March Madness. No. April Madness. That's what it's all about, man. It's April. Screw March Madness, am I right?
Who needs
Huh?
it?
Who needs that? Let me ask you guys real quick. As of Monday, April 7th at 6:07 p.m., would you rather be a Nebrasketball fan or a Duke fan?
Motherfucker. I knew this was coming up
What?
almost
What?
immediately.
What? I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry.
It's nice because I get to be both. I'm an alumni at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah.
So I am a Nebrasketball fan. But I want to get ahead of this that the Duke loss did suck.
Yeah.
I believe that.
The
That-
good news was that I was actually at a wedding during the game, and they turned the one TV in the venue on to the Duke game for me. It was very nice of them. It was also the meanest shit anyone has ever done to me, letting me watch that. But the good news is when the clock ticked 0 and, you know, my heart was broken, I was standing right next to an open bar.
Yeah, I was
There
going
it
to say,
is.
was it open bar? 'Cause
It
then at
was.
that point, you still win.
You think daddy shows up to a wedding without an open bar?
Daddy got a crown, though.
Yeah, daddy did get a crown.
Daddy
But
got
no,
a crown and
I-
maybe some Crown Royal, maybe to
No,
wash it down.
I told you guys just before the episode started that I was standing there with the American Airlines app open, waiting to hit
wow.
book on my flight to San Antonio. I
Yeah.
didn't. There was a large part of me, especially with like 8 minutes to go, that I didn't expect to be here today. I wanted to be in San Antonio. Obviously, that did not work out. And I had a crowd of people watching me, waiting to hit book. And the clock ticked 0. I said 0 words. I locked the phone, put it in
Mhm.
my pocket, and I
Mhm.
walked up and ordered another beer.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "What? You're not upset?" I was like, "I'm at a wedding. You think this is the time for me to yell about Duke basketball?"
This ain't about me tonight.
In Nebraska?
No, I waited till I got home to yell, and then I just locked myself in my laundry room for like 45 minutes and screamed at a wall.
Sure.
Wow.
It hurt to watch too.
But I'll tell you what, like, it sucked, but it was a great season for Duke, and you know, I hope the best for all the players moving forward. And I think John Shire's a great coach. So I think there is a coach though, notably, that had a much cooler finish.
Yes.
Fred
Yes.
Hoiberg.
Now,
Yeah.
hey, let me throw it over to you, Steve.
Yeah.
You know, they win this crown tournament, and look, we are fully embracing the bit, obviously.
Yeah. You guys got me to do it.
Here
Obviously.
you are.
Yeah.
Like, we recognize we're the prettiest girl at the ugly contest. Like, we know that. Okay. Right. I don't think we're mistaking this for
A
anything
tournament
more.
win or anything like that.
You know, we're not extrapolating this to anything
Yeah.
much bigger than right now. You had wrote an article.
Mhm.
I believe it came out today.
It did.
Like, if you could just like kind of tell us what the purpose of this article is about, and just go on.
Well, I wanted to just do something extra because I'm the men's basketball beat writer for Inside Nebraska, and going into this crown tournament, when they accepted the invite to play in it, I was like, "What are you doing? Don't play in this thing." There are other teams that are not like declining the invites. This is the first year of this thing. Nobody knows what's going on. There's money to it, but nobody knows who's getting what or anything about that, all that stuff. The info was just very like not getting out.
Mhm.
And I'm like, just focus on next year's roster. Don't go to Vegas. Just focus on it. Just focus on next year's roster, who you're going to like replace, because you got a lot to replace.
Mhm.
And then I watched the tournament. And then I watched them have fun playing basketball. And I saw the bench on that championship Sunday, and they're all having fun. They look like they were having fun for like the first time in a long time playing basketball, the team. And then I thought to myself, this is a cool tournament. This is a very cool thing that's going to continue to grow, in my opinion. So I wanted to write a column about, I was wrong. I was wrong about all of it. And I'm glad that Nebraska went there and played and won the damn thing, because I think it creates so much momentum of like transfers are going to be watching that. Transfers were watching that tournament, and they were seeing Nebraska doing well. And they were seeing Fred Hoiberg coach, and they were seeing somebody like Bryce Williams become the single season scoring record holder at Nebraska. And he's going out. Who's going to replace him? I don't know. Maybe some guy from a mid-major somewhere is thinking, I could be that guy.
Right.
And he's now automatically like thinking, maybe I should check out Nebraska. So I just think that I was wrong about the whole Crown thing, and I wanted to write down why I think that it could be turn into a really good thing that they went there and they won the whole thing, which I think was very cool. And now, of course, they're playing Arizona State, skeleton of itself roster-wise. Same thing with Georgetown, missing a ton of dudes. But they beat Boise State. Boise State was an NCAA tournament snub that a lot of people thought should be playing in Big Dance. They handled them pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
I thought. And then, yeah, they just took care of business against UCF. Again, down their lead score, but who cares? It's basketball. It's April. They were playing in it. I think it was good for the program. They gained a ton of exposure. I think it's just gonna help them in their offseason and trying to replace what they need to replace.
Yeah, you are not the only one that came into this thinking like it's kind of a joke, right? It's very cryptic about with the money and everything.
Yeah.
So, I was one that I even said, I don't care what happens. I'm probably not going to watch a game, which was really stupid of me at the time. But you have to also remember I was pretty emotional because they lose against Iowa and Connor Season goes 0 from 3.
0 of 11, 0 of 8 from 3.
Oh my Lord. Hey, talk about a dude who emerged. I mean,
yeah, no, he was a spark. He was a spark plug.
Yeah. And like, okay, I'll just throw it over to you guys. So it's not just us, but like players that stood out, obviously.
Kale Jacobson, guys.
Yeah.
Kale Jacobson. It just, this team, it always leaves you wanting more. I feel like all season it's done that. It's like it's left you wanting more. And that's why I said last week, I was like, nobody knows what's going to happen with this team, but I'll promise you one of two things. They're going to lose. They're going to lose in the first game because nobody wants to be there, or they're going to win the whole damn thing because they have Bryce Williams and nobody else does. And I think Nebraska literally showed you that. But the Kale Jacobson thing is just so irritating because
seriously though,
you watched how he played in that tournament, and maybe it's just a small sample size. You could say that, but like just watching, he was like Sam Hoiberg on steroids.
Oh yeah,
like he was a guy.
He's a bigger Sam Hoiberg.
He's a bigger version of Sam Hoiberg who can defend anybody on the court, who took care of the ball for the most part, and was a good shooter all around. So this team is just it's like the what could have been, but it's kind of similar to Nebraska football in a way, where they're ending the season as a winner. And it's been a long time,
Tell them.
since Nebraska in men's sports have ended their seasons as winners. Pinstripe Bowl, Crown Tournament, don't care. These teams ended as a winner, and they're putting the program in the right direction moving forward.
Yeah, and there's a contrast to football and basketball. And I'm talking about former head coach Scott.
Yeah.
You had a chance to go to a bowl game, and you decided, no, we're just going to stay home, right? Fred Hoiberg had that exact same choice. You can just stay home. Let's just call it a day.
Yep.
And he said, no, like, let's go play.
Yeah, let's go have
see
some
what
fun in
happens.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, you're
Roll
playing
the dice.
You're playing for what they played for, like a total of 400,000,
300,000.
300,000.
300. Okay, because I thought like the winner of the semifinals.
Those
game,
guys got paid too.
Yeah.
The championship team got 300 to disperse throughout all the players.
Got it. So yeah, so I'm just saying, like, there is a contrast there where you have two head coaches that had a chance to play postseason basketball, and one said, yeah, let's do it. Like, what do you have to lose? And I think it will benefit, like you said, Steve.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite takes, and I wish I could credit whoever wrote the tweet, was about how this was actually a revenge game. It was the former head coach Scott Bowl. Was that you?
No, it was.
I'm not used to
It was definitely
beep.
mine.
So
Yeah, so we don't-
really funny to me.
He can't.
Yeah, we don't say his name on the pod because
It's funny,
it's
yeah.
so-
we're still heartbroken that it didn't
Yeah.
work out.
So the rule is, if you're talking about the quarterback, that is Scott Frost. That is his name.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the coach, it's Scott. Oh, yeah. Okay, there
Sorry,
it is.
I started pressing a bunch of buttons over here.
Lordy. But no, it was really interesting to see, Nebraska UCF.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was
Uh,
fucking Mike.
But so,
My-
how many times have we talked about any postseason play is better than no postseason play? Has it been like 1 million or 2 million?
Well, we know what it's like to not make the postseason in football and in basketball, believe it or not. So just play the games. If they're open to you, play them.
Yes.
It was funny. So Saturday was the semifinal. Yeah. playing Boise State,
Mhm.
and I was at a wedding ceremony at the time, watching it in the middle of a psalm book. And my fiance looked at me and she's like, "Is it really that important?" And I said, "What's the Final Four?" She said, "It's the Final Four." And I said, "Okay, wait, no, not the tournament you're thinking of. It's like, this is kind of a consolation of the consolation." And she was like, "That it means that much to you?" I said, "The Huskers are playing in April. It means
First
a
time
whole
ever.
lot to me."
Dude,
Did you see they're actually all-time wins in April for college basketball programs? They're now top 10. They have 3.
lovely. Well, yeah, dude, just think of all the seasons, regardless of sport, where it just ended in heartbreak. And that's the way it ends for most teams, right? Even if you make the NCAA tournament, there's only one team that ends happily, right? But just think of all the men's sports here that have just ended on a freaking whimper. And like I said before, going out like you did against Iowa at home, like just imagine if that's how you
Football's
ended
the
it,
same
man.
way though. Basketball and football both
Iowa.
ended heartbreak games to Iowa.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They got to turn the page and they ended the season as winners. Both teams, football and basketball.
Yeah, and so like you watch these games and you do try to find nuggets within these games that you can try to apply to next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mentioned him earlier, and I have talked some crap about Connor Season, okay? Just not seeming to be a consistently good shooter, right? But then it wasn't just about the shooting this weekend or this week, right? He was actually scoring reminiscent to Casey, where it was a lot of cutting, a lot of mid-range shots.
It's great.
And I'm like, okay, and I think of next year where you're going to have rank, spacing the floor out, passing the ball, and I'm like, oh man, like this could be really good. And I'm starting to get a little excited because one of the things about playing in this tournament, and a lot of people didn't want them to, was because, well, it's going to take away from recruiting. No, you ended up getting 2 additions where it's like, okay, I could see this. You get a nice shooter in Price Sanford and the Central Michigan Ulagaga, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Call him Oogie.
Oogie.
Yeah.
So it didn't take away from recruiting because it's not like they wouldn't have gotten these guys if they wouldn't have played in the Crown. Like they're here, they're going to be here. So I'm a little excited about next year. Am I crazy for being a little excited for next year?
I think playing in the Crown this year was a double-edged sword. Again, Mike touched on it last week about the possibility of losing in the first round or winning it all. Obviously, we know the result now, but I think if you lose in the first round of the Crown, that can be a detriment. But continuing to win, again, you mentioned Oogie, you mentioned who was the other? Sanford, yeah. That commit. Was the Crown the turning point for them? I doubt it. But did it help? Absolutely. So it was, I think the participation means much less than the actual result as far as the Crown went. And I think obviously, players looking at this Nebraska team that just won the Crown, like, holy shit, those guys just got paid. And this is a program that I'm not going to shock anybody here. We don't go to March very often. We don't go to the dance very often, but seeing this as a realistic result and something that we've shown that we can win is very appealing to these, mid-major transfers or anything like that.
I think you saw a little bit of Fred Hoiberg, like who Fred Hoiberg is behind the scenes, like in that press conference afterwards.
I loved it. Yeah,
oh, he had his hat backwards.
Yes.
He's talking about, he's giving the players a hard time. Like, this money's going to the players. How come
So
not?
it was bullshit.
Yeah.
He said literally bullshit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think just overall the event was good, right? Like the players got paid. The coaching staff seemed like they had a really good time. Like you guys have mentioned, they usually end the season on some sort of dud. Something bad happens. That you win you lose a game you're not supposed to. Whatever it is, Fred Hoiberg has seen some bad basketball in Lincoln, and he has gone through some stuff, right?
Yeah.
But just to have him like up there celebrating with his players and whatever you want to consider this tournament, I thought it was kind of just a win all around.
And I continue to go back to the momentum piece of this thing. So after that regular season finale loss to Iowa at home, where Esiason goes 0 for 11, 0 for 8 from 3, there's just no confidence at all there was no momentum. There's no juice to the program at all. And then there's like, oh man, they have to go and replace like 7 dudes. Like they have to go out and do this stuff. And now they're playing this crown. And now they win the thing. And it's just, in my opinion, it doesn't make everything better. It doesn't make the 5-game losing streak at the end of the season better. It doesn't make missing the Big Ten conference tournament better. But it does help things to go out there and do what they were capable of doing and look like they were having fun again and kind of put out a little bit of the fire in the fan base. Cause I think that fire was raging right after that loss.
It is.
And then they go out there and they do what they do. And I think it's just a little bit less. And now you start to get Price Sanford, 40% from 3. You get Oogie, first team all MAC. We'll see like physicality with him. So he's 6'10", 220. Is he going to be tough enough and big enough? Cause I think he's primarily like a post guy. He's like your next Andrew Morgan.
Yeah, I'd say he's an Andrew Morgan
for sure.
Yeah.
Moves a lot better than Andrew Morgan, I think, though. But so
doesn't look like Bambi.
No,
that's
Andrew
Morgan.
He has back-to-back dirty ass dunks. All right, you see that shit?
Yeah,
he was
awesome.
really. Yeah, no, he had some good moments. He had some good moments in the crown for sure. But yeah, I think it just continued. I just go back to the momentum piece of this thing. There was none after Iowa, but now there is some, and I think that makes it worth it, in my opinion.
So you're the beat writer for Nebrasketball. Do you see or have you heard Fred going after any point guards? Because
not yet.
That's the missing piece. Like
No.
they can go get all the shooters they want. They can go get a big
man, yeah.
They can do whatever they want. But until Fred gets a true point guard, this offense is not going to work.
I totally agree with you, but just because I haven't heard about it doesn't mean that it's not
it doesn't
happening.
mean it.
I didn't even know who the Ogie guy was when that came out.
That
gave me a
blindsided
heart
lot of
attack
guys.
because I had to like get my laptop out and like start writing. But when that popped up, but no, I mean they've been after. I've been kind of impressed with Fred and his staff and what they've been doing on the road in Vegas to be able to land 2 of those guys already, and with everything going on, plus the assistant coach.
Yeah, down a coach.
A coach as well. Shout out to Peyton Borders, who was just a young coach in that system. He was elevated to kind of like more of a role for that tournament. So shout out to him. But yeah, I mean, I've been really kind of impressed with how Nebraska has handled this offseason and what they have going on right now. Obviously, they have a lot of work to do in the transfer portal. But I totally agree with you. Point guard is way up there.
That's got to be.
Along with like the next Bryce, the next Juwan. You got to get some old veteran guys in here to replace those guys. But point guard, way up there.
It's up there.
And you just see him on the cell phone in the plane.
I love it.
All suave.
So does it frustrate you guys a little bit watching how Nebraska?
Yes.
I don't know that I can say
Yes,
took care
always.
of business against Boise
Absolutely.
State.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you say yes.
Go on, though. Sorry.
But beating UCF, like I'm not going to say like I knew that was going to happen. I was more confident about it than I was Boise State. But watching them beat Boise State frustrated me because had we seen that kind of cohesion and that kind of play style earlier in the season, this could have been a team that was in the dance.
This was this all year, and you were like, "Well, here's your cat,
Dead cat.
And I want to be clear that I was correct.
You were
about the dead cat.
you were right, kind of. But now we're back on the high. So
Yeah, but
you know what? If they would have,
didn't
they would have
matter.
won one more game or whatever and made the tournament, who knows? They probably would have won it. They probably would have won the NCAA tournament game.
Hey,
Just saying.
Mike,
I mean, what happened at Ohio State? I mean,
Oh
come
my
on.
God. Yeah.
Like if they get out of Ohio State with the win, they're probably dancing.
Yep.
Yeah, but Mike says if they win one more game,
I know,
Mike,
a lot
I'll
of
tell
ifs.
you,
If
they went undefeated, they would have
if,
been a
if.
champion. They'd be playing tonight.
Shit.
I'm not
They
talking
went undefeated
about
in that
ifs.
crown, though.
I'm saying that this is a team that if they had lived up to what they really showed they could do all season. There's an if, I know.
No.
No, but
I'm going with you here because
Yeah.
look, these 4 games, okay? Connor Season scoring in ways that are versatile. Cale Jacobson getting regular minutes over Raleigh. You had to play Raleigh because of the NIL. I get it. Fine. Juwan played out of his gourd. There's a reason why he won MVP because he was getting after it every game.
Dog.
Absolute dog.
I was scared because he goes out and I thought he flopped. I
was like, he's literally bleeding.
I know.
That 7'2" center's elbows
That
have
was
to be super sharp.
yeah.
Like they have to be
Like,
razors.
He
over
had
there.
razor blades taped to the back of him.
I was like, dude, he barely touched but yes, he started bleeding. But I was like, no, don't go out like this. No.
He wasn't going out like. Everybody knew he was coming back.
And then Bryce, it's like it looked for a little bit there, like he wasn't going to get that record because he was 1 point away.
He was like, he didn't score for a very long time. And I was like, no.
But there were so many elements that happened in this 4-game stretch where, they came out every game with some freaking energy, and you couldn't say that on a consistent basis. And bottom line, Connor, I think there was just less pressure.
Yeah.
And I think
Just go out and play ball.
how often do we talk about, not only with basketball, but also with football, about being mental midgets?
Yeah.
When
Tighten up.
Yeah. When the lights get bright and the stage gets big, it gets tough.
Yeah, man.
But you bring up the Bryce record.
Yeah.
And so obviously we all know Bryce's resume at his time in Nebraska. Do you retire the jersey?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes.
I am on. I think
Teron
firmly
Lewis is
on the
retired.
side.
I'm just saying. And Bryce
Right.
brought a crown championship to the worst power basketball program in history.
And then
So-
the season before that led them to the tournament for the first time in
Yes.
whatever it was, 10 years.
Every pointed at Casey.
As the main,
we love
as
him.
the main player. I know Casey, awesome.
Yeah, we
and
love
everything,
him. We
but
love Casey. His number might get retired someday too, which is already retired because it's Teron Lewis' number, I think. But like his jersey might get hung one day.
Yeah.
But Bryce Williams, all-time scorer leader, did some shit for 2 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's also a matter of not retiring the number, but just putting it somewhere.
Put it in the rafters.
It's a remembrance type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You still make the number 3 available.
No
to everybody,
statue.
but
No statue.
But I think the jersey should go up in the rafters at the very least.
I agree. Okay, we're
Yeah.
talking crown, and I kind of prepped you guys with this before, but we're talking crown, and we talk about kind of the excitement that it brought to at least our fan base. I don't know how many people nationwide watched the crown, but we had a good time watching it, and it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, could they do this format for football? Is this something that they could do with some of these Charmin Ultra Softball games where you group a bunch of teams that were mediocre at best together and they play some tournament style football for a large sum of money? Steve, what do you think?
it would be awesome. It would be incredible just to have like a little mini tournament of like
A little mini
however
CFP.
many- a
Yeah.
little mini CFP plus NIL. But there's got to be like so many. I feel like, I don't know for sure, but like I feel like there's got to be so many hoops to hurdle if you're going to
Oh,
do
for
that with
sure.
like football, especially.
Oh,
Contact sport.
Yeah. And it's
well,
like,
and like brandings and
Yeah, and basketball's
contracts
easy.
and
like Nebraska won 4 games in 7 days. You can't do that with football
Right.
because you got to rest the bodies and everything. But I mean, I would love to see something like that though. Right.
I think I would not be shocked if Fox or one of these TV companies does something. They got to.
Maybe start off small and have like a group of 5 tournament, NIL tournament, something like that. I don't know. Get like Coastal Carolina out there. Get like Tulsa. Get some like random teams.
I'd
And
watch
let them
it.
duke it out. I would watch it. Yeah.
I'd watch it.
And the people that are putting it together would like make a ton of money off betting, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Like all that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, like Nebraska gets academically put into a bowl game that eventually gets declined. So like you take those like 5 and 7 teams that are at the top academically, and at the same time that everybody's doing their bowl games, you just start like a playoff for the crown.
Oh, sign me up.
I know that sounds awesome.
I'm down.
Well, and of course you add the money in the equation that adds incentive.
Oh yeah.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like all these teams that Nebraska played in the crown, like you said, the skeleton crews.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure, I don't know how football
Except
would
Boise.
be.
Boise was full strength.
Yeah. And that's the team that they arguably handled
Yes.
the most.
Yes.
But go on, Connor. Sorry.
I think as we go through like what a mini CFP, like you described, Mike, I think what would be really fun is do a round robin of the service academies. Because the service academies have been pretty good in the last couple of years.
Can they take NIL money?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know the rules on that.
waist.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun.
Jesus.
And it's an easy way. I hate that Army Navy is always like I think now it's the first week of the CFP.
Yeah, go Army beat Navy. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's always go Navy beat
Nah.
Army, actually. But I think that would be really fun. And it's another thing, like America's game is Army Navy. But doing a round robin over the course of 3 weeks with the service academies would be much easier as far as like resting bodies went and stuff like that, and much less people to manage. But I think that's something that a lot of Americans would probably tune into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw out a little military vibe to it. I think, people would
Yeah.
probably care a little more. I don't know. I'm down for the 5 and 7 teams. Group them all up.
Yep.
Let them just fight to the death.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Fight to the death. Like freaking Joker in the
Hey,
Dark
rule
Knight.
said if we die, we die.
If we die, we die.
Yeah. Here we go. Right here.
We're going to absolutely murder you.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of silly drops.
Yeah, I like that.
Just reminds me of the Dark Knight when the Joker breaks the pool cue. All right, make it fast.
Whoever
You
comes
guys
out
on
on
a
top.
squad.
Yeah, good reference.
You like that?
It's a great
Um,
movie.
I'll just I don't know how much longer we're going to talk about basketball, but I do just want to say, like, we're talking about money in college athletics, and it's really easy to get cynical about things or to tune out or to not like watching sports as much. But when you see the way that Juwan went out and Bryce went out, it's like, okay, it does make the cockles of my heart a little warm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I say
They
it all
hugged
the
it
time.
out.
What?
They hugged it out a little bit.
Yeah, they hugged it out.
They hugged it out.
A little emotional.
They cared.
I say it
They
all the
did.
time. It's
Care
like
factor.
I don't understand how people can't be romantic about sports. Like it's just if you're only seeing the ball move, you're missing so much more of what this is about.
Mhm.
And so seeing that hug was like that's what I'm talking about.
I was like the Grinch at the end, you know, when the heart actually starts.
Growing in size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was me.
That's a medical condition. You should probably get that checked out.
Depression.
Oh God.
What
Mike-
else? Anything else about basketball you want to shout out?
Not
Any-
really. I'm just
Okay.
curious. Does Mike know that his crown fell off?
Oh yeah, I took it off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it fell off, and then I just doubled down.
Okay, how about this? How about this? How about this? I'm curious to know the answers here
Okay.
because hindsight will play a big part. Would you rather have
Oh God.
won the crown or make the NCAA tournament and
lost
lose in
the
game
crown.
one?
Oh, win the crown. That's a very easy answer for me. I think
You'd rather win the crown than make the tourney.
So win the crown than make the tourney. It's one of those things that again we talked about. It's funny because we talked about benchmark for success this year for Nebraska basketball. And if you guys remember, what was my benchmark?
Make the Big Ten tourney.
Make the Big Ten tournament. We didn't do that.
Yikes.
So I mean, obviously, like it's a sign of good faith if you make the big dance. But
Mhm.
continuing to lose in round one, I think, can be harmful when potential recruits or transfers are looking at you. But again, the crown is new. It's year one.
Yep.
But winning it and beating a team like Boise State, I think, might actually have been a much better move for this program than going and losing in round one.
Well, Mike's still thinking. I think.
I'm torn,
Well,
dude.
Kyle, do you have an answer? Like, what?
I'll
Or-
tell
or
you this.
Steve.
We were in Memphis last year,
Uh-huh.
and that was brutal.
That was pretty
Sure.
sad.
That
Sure.
was brutal.
That was-
Sure.
That was a
So,
long drive home.
If you're talking about hindsight, either win the crown or lose in the first round, give me the crown.
You're wearing
it.
Yeah, I've got it.
I'm the same. I think that just and from experience with 2 seasons ago when Nebraska went to Memphis, again, long drive. I made it.
Yeah,
It was very
same.
long. But and seeing the aftermath with like the fan reaction to that loss to A&M and how it was like, man, we weren't really that good. Like A&M was so much more athletic than us. We weren't really, like, we can't compete with some of these athletes on the court. That's what I think a lot of the fan base was thinking. And that left a really bad taste in a lot of mouths. But we won the crown, everybody's feeling good about themselves. And now we're talking about recruiting and
And
off-season
you walked off as a
transfers.
winner.
Yeah.
And you walk off as a winner. So I think, although it is really nice to make back-to-back big dances, I think it's better to win something like the crown just because of it gives your fan base hope for next season. And it, with his season, maybe that sparks something with him to become more consistent. So
Cut
Well,
more. Cut more.
maybe if I reword it to, you're going to make the crown and win the crown, or you're going to make the tournament, but you don't know what you're going to do. I think that might be a better question: is you make the crown
you don't know
and
the
you're
outcome.
guaranteed to win the crown, or you make the tournament, the
And you know what's
regular
gonna
tournament,
happen.
but you don't know what's going to happen.
So
If
I've
I-
been battling this though.
I
So
don't
I'm
know.
sitting over here fighting with myself over, okay. So like, where's the program going to be high? Like big picture, Fred Hoiberg, year, whatever, I would still choose the tournament.
Mm.
And
Agreed.
now that you change the caveat, it doubles
You-
down what I'm going to say.
I changed my answer too. Anyway,
Yeah.
go on. Sorry.
Yeah.
But to me, if you look at the big picture, Fred Hoiberg, look at this program as being the worst power basketball program ever. Making the tournament shows that you're going in the right direction. And I think when you miss the Big Ten tournament and you miss the actual tournament, I think it's still, although you're ending on a high, and I love the high. Don't get me wrong. This is fantastic that they actually went out and did it. You know,
Yeah.
they won the freaking crown.
Mm-hmm.
They've won the NIT. So they're the only team that's won both of those ever, actually.
Crazy.
But no tournament games. So I would say
Thank you for clarifying. that.
yes, I know. I would say regardless of what would happen in the NCAA tournament, I would still rather have been there and even lost there, because it tells me that Fred is still doing the damn thing.
And listen, as fun as it was, as good as the outcome was,
Yes.
it's still mediocrity.
Yes, exactly.
You're still the butt of a joke.
Prettiest girl at the ugly competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you preface it as like you're guaranteed to win the crown or you're going to make the tournament and you don't know what you're going to do, I take the tournament all day long because I don't want to live in mediocrity.
Me too.
Okay, can I play contrarian for just a
See, and
moment?
that's why. No, that's
Yeah.
good because like I'm thinking in my head, maybe this is
Yeah.
a really dumb question because a lot of
No,
people
It's not dumb.
are probably like,
the
No,
recency
well, of course,
bias is
It's
definitely
it is
we're on a little bit of a high right now.
it's
Yes.
a very fair question.
We're wearing
So,
crowns for God's sake.
So going along the beauty pageant avenue, right now, we are the prettiest girl at the ugly girl competition. But when was the last time in April that we were talking about in a positive light basketball recruiting?
Freaking A.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So I really, to me, the question boils down to, because historically, the caveat was that you make the dance, but you're not guaranteed what the results are. Historically, we know likely what those results are. We don't perform well with bright lights and big stages. That we just know that. So would you rather be the prettiest girl in this tournament or the ugliest girl in this one? I think losing in that first round, while still valuable to be getting that bid and playing at the dance, I see a lot of benefit in winning the crown. I do. And frankly, it's because where Nebraska is at right now, basketball, the whole landscape has shifted where 4-year players are going to be harder to come by.
Yep.
So if you're looking at these mid-major transfers or stuff like that, they're looking at people where, I know I'm not going to go win an NCAA title. Where can I go to showcase my talent, get postseason play, and maybe get a check in addition to that? And I think being able to show that, like in year one, that we were good enough with this roster that didn't even make the Big Ten tournament, that we can win the crown, I think that's very valuable. So I think with where the program is at currently, this is still my preferred option would be to win the crown.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always gonna select the NCAA tournament because
NCAA tournament.
you're always give yourself a shot, right? Give
Yeah.
yourself a shot, even if it's
Even if you're the 12th seed or whatever.
yeah, even if you have a better chance of passing through the eye of a needle or whatever that saying is.
Camel through the avenue.
Yeah, that one. Still always gonna take that chance. You never know. Go on a little bit of a run, and you might get a favorable matchup instead of Texas A&M.
Who, by the way, was
God damn it.
when we played A&M, they shot, I think, 55 or 56% from the arc. Going into that game, they were the least efficient three-point shooting team in the
Yeah.
tournament.
Of course.
Funny how that
Yeah.
always happens.
Yeah,
Right.
because of course. That's
fine.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because of course.
Okay. Football?
Football.
Football,
We got a football
football.
guy
Steve,
here.
football.
Yeah.
We
I'm a
have to talk
guy.
football. It's
I love
April.
Football guy. Should always talk football.
We talk football all the time,
Oh.
even in the spring.
That's good.
Yes.
Does that make you mad? No. Stop.
It does not.
This is just me, and maybe you guys aren't interested in this. I have long been a proponent of possibly getting another running back out of the portal. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Of course, it's Kool-Aid season, so you're hearing good things, right?
Of course.
This guy looks better than blah, blah, blah. Like, are you of that mindset that they need to get one more guy, or do you like what they have, considering who's in the room, who's calling the plays? The offensive line seems improved, we'll say. We'll see. But, like, what are your thoughts on that?
So that was one of the questions that I raised during one of my stories that I wrote for like off-season story or spring storylines is, do they need to tap into the portal for a running back?
Okay.
And it just depends on if you're somebody who's comfortable with taking a risk, because there's a known quantity in my opinion, in Emmett Johnson and what he's going to be doing, not only as a runner, but as a pass catcher in Dana Holgerson's offense, which utilizes the running back in the pass game. But it just depends on if you trust what they tell you about Quentin Ives and Mekhi Nelson, those two specifically, because there's an opening with Dante Dowdell over at Kentucky. There's an opening for that big back, the top big back, the short yardage guy. Quentin Ives, physically, first guy off the bus looks. I mean, he looks incredible at 6'3", 210 pounds. But we just don't know. We haven't seen him. We hear that he looks great in practice, but we aren't there to watch it. It's just words right now. So, and same thing with Mekhi Nelson. They say that he was close to getting some reps in games last year, but then again, he never got them, even in the bowl game. So it's something with me. I'm willing to roll the dice and go with that room as is. But I totally understand if you want to dip into the portal and get like an older veteran guy who's out there in the spring.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying I'm on that. Like I really wasn't. Maybe
but it's a legit discussion.
Yeah.
To be had.
For me, I'm always going to lean on my skepticism on guys I've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, Quentin Ives had a touchdown against Boston College.
2 yards.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, some people bring that up. But Quentin Ives scored a touchdown. I'm like,
I think you could have scored that one.
Doubt
it. Following Ty Robinson.
I don't believe that you've ever seen Jared play any sport. If you're saying that.
Hey, man, come on. I could do stuff. But yeah, like I said, Quentin Ives, we'll see. Mekhi Nelson, like you said, it's where I'm at is you say that these guys are good enough. If they are, like you say, they would be playing. And so, yeah, that's just me, my skepticism. If I haven't seen you, you might as well like not even be on the team.
Well, and
You know?
running back is one of those few positions that like literally a true freshman can come out there and be a starting running back, because
if you have it, you have it.
if you have it, you have it. Exactly. Sure. Like at that particular position and wide receiver too, like at those skill positions, if you've got it, you will be playing immediately. So, and that's why like once you hit like a certain number of those recruits for running backs, the rest of them are just kind of like they're grouped together because they're all just kind of whatever. So
yeah,
Matt Rule has talked highly about Quentin Ives. He has beat that drum a long time.
He's been the big Quentin Ives beat drummer. Yeah.
Now, I think this will tell us a lot about Matt Rule and his running back,
his talent,
evaluation,
recognition, all that stuff,
and EJ Barthel's development skills.
That too. Like if Quentin Ives, and this is like I said, this will say a lot about Matt Rule and his staff. If he's not ready to play this year, that's an issue because once again, he's been shoving Quentin Ives down our throat for the last 2 years. So
he really has.
He really has.
And he'd tell you that Quentin hasn't had the opportunities to go out.
Right, but whose problem is that? Whose fault is that?
Because Dowdell was in front of him last year.
Right. Okay.
But like it's
like that room was so
for
good,
anything.
though.
I'm not saying that's an excuse, but it's
right.
like there's something you could say for anything. But yeah, I mean it's Jamarian Parker is interesting too. I really like that he said that. So he came in at 175 pounds. If he's going to be getting like A gap and B gap runs, like right at the teeth of defenses, he needs to get bigger. And they say he
Wandale Robinson type.
Boom, boom,
Gosh.
boom, boom, boom.
No, let's go up the
so
middle,
bad
baby.
for Wandale.
Again.
Well, and it
Good
is
old Scott.
Oh God. Well, it is kind of a chicken and egg thing, right? Because I don't even know if that's like the correct analogy. Because if they were to get a guy from the portal who's more proven and has played at this level, then yeah, you're prolonging the playing time of Ives and Parker and et cetera. And you know, so yeah, it's a tough question.
A self-fulfilling prophecy, if you will.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
By continuing to go out and find guys to fill these gaps, you're not giving the guys that you for years have told us can fill the gaps.
Yep.
You're not giving them the time.
You know, I will say I am glad that usually listen, Hardly Gilmore didn't even make it 4 practices, bro.
Hardly knew him.
What are we doing? What are we doing? But I'm glad that it was him rather than an offensive lineman, for instance.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like Ja'Cory Barney or something like something.
Yeah.
He had
Some
a
real contributor.
he had an uphill climb to get reps. Hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a room that was so full and like, it's there's only really truly one proven guy in there with Dane Key. Everybody else has had, like, Ja'Cory, great, but it was just one season to go off of.
Right.
We'll see what he does. Isaiah Hunter, love that guy. Super thick, big body, 6'2", 210, can do a lot of things, strong. But again, just one season to go off of.
Mhm.
So there's just a lot of guys in there that can be awesome, but we just don't know yet at Nebraska, except for Dane Key. I think he's pretty much proven himself that he can play.
And that's the key, right? At Nebraska.
That's the Dane.
Why? Because it's different here.
It is different.
It is. I'm
It just
sorry.
seems to be
Something in the
different.
water.
It just seems to be different.
Yeah. Steve, are we crazy for thinking that? Are we crazy for thinking that, guys that are good? Okay. Gosh, I even forgot his freaking name. That came from Wake Forest. Oh my God.
Jamal Banks.
Jamal Banks.
Yeah.
It's like, played very well there.
Mhm.
Put up pretty good numbers. And it's like, okay. But then you get here and what happened?
We have the saying, no block, no rock.
That's
that
what
was part of it.
happened.
And
That's
yeah,
what happened.
And yeah, Sat was calling the offense for a lot of it. So he's always the punching bag here. But yeah, it's just you get here and it's why are you worse than you were before? So
Better competition, right?
better, there's a lot of different things at play here. I think you could say.
I think a lot of people are looking at this last season where, wide receivers, I don't think were really the main target of my despair.
Yeah.
But we are looking obviously towards a better second season for Dylan Raiola. I think everybody is hoping and hopefully expecting that. So first question, did Dylan Raiola actually weigh 240?
No.
Thank you.
Shut
up, Jared.
239.
But so I'm gonna be honest.
Hey, I didn't say it. Rule did.
He was joking, hopefully.
He just said you can't play quarterback.
We
I do think that
No.
he should have worded that differently.
yeah.
So he went up and defended himself with what he said, and I totally agree that he has every right to do that. But looking back on it,
But why say it in the first place?
exactly, like
Yeah.
saying it that way,
Yes.
so you're just going to you're going to like allow fans who are just like scrolling through on Twitter, they click play and they hear the 240, you're like, Dylan was 240 pounds,
Right.
Well, that's kind of on you, Matt. That's
Yeah.
that's how I view
You
it.
put it in our brain.
And you wonder
Yeah,
why.
It is because
And you wonder why in the weeks following that, he seemed a little more short and a little more terse
Yeah.
with his explanations. And
Well, I mean, he even came out and he's like, "Hey, I know I said it,
You
but like you
motherfucker."
guys took off with it.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
didn't expect it to be like,
That's the face of the program, though.
but again,
I mean,
shouldn't he realize
yeah.
in the fan base that he is in
Mhm.
in the city of the football crazy like city that he is in, like everybody's going to like everybody listens to every single word that he says. And so I think and he's always careful with what he says, but I think that time he let him like he slipped a little bit where he just gave the runway to people just to take off with it.
Does
Yeah.
it-
Not
does
to
it-
mention that he literally has gone out there and been like, I'm telling you the truth. Like, he is a straight shooter, probably the straightest shooter we've ever had as a head coach.
Mhm.
Like, he doesn't have that coach speak like most guys do. He tells you how it is. And then he goes out and says something
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
Not
And
the
then it's
time
like,
to joke around,
hey,
Matt.
hey, whoa. Like you took that and ran with it. You've literally told us how honest you are with us. And then you say something like that and get mad that they ran with it.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Doesn't he know that we're crazy?
Sickos.
So my second question after that Dylan Raiola 240 thing is, do you guys see more pressure to perform on Dylan Raiola this season or the receiver room?
Dylan Raiola. All that.
Well, the receiver room, we saw a lot of drops last season. We did. We did also have some very questionable passes.
He couldn't throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
He's got to work on that.
So I think for me, and this is kind of a cop out. So I'm going to give 2-part answer. The easy one is that it's a 50-50. Like you're going to need to see improvement on both. But frankly, I think there's more pressure on the receiver room. Is that when he does get that ball there, it needs to be caught. It has to be, because there were several passes, like several games where we could have won if certain passes were not dropped.
Or made.
or made.
Or
Yeah, or
made.
made.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Illinois
So,
is
again,
an easy one.
Ohio
That's-
State.
Ohio
Yeah.
State, an easy one.
Again, that's why I
Luke
say,
Lindenmeyer, Illinois.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I come back to the easy answer is a 50-50.
Yes.
So where do you guys see more pressure this year? Is it on Raiola or on the
90-10.
receiver room?
90-10. It's all on Dylan. Dylan has to take the step. He was anointed the number one quarterback in the class, and on some of those recruiting sites. I don't know about Rifle. Where was he on Rivals? Was he
He was just
top 5?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
he wasn't like down on other.
he
players.
was a 5-star consensus across the board.
Yes.
Dylan, he talks the talk. He has to walk the walk. He missed a lot of throws last year, and he was a 18-year-old kid playing quarterback.
Yep. Tough.
So it's tough. It's tough to go in and play in a power conference and start right away. So, but no,
Especially at
it's
Nebraska.
100, especially at Nebraska. It's 100%. Here's the thing: good quarterbacks make mediocre receivers look better. They always do. So if Dylan plays to his potential, this team is going to be very good. If he doesn't, they're going to look like they did this year, 7-6.
Mid.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, it's always quarterback. I love that Dylan he's going to Nebraska events. He's doing videos with Baby Gronk.
Oh God, why? No, we should not be having videos with Baby Gronk.
Why not?
That was bad. But yeah, dude, like bottom line, what was his touchdown interception ratio this past year? I mean, it was almost the same. It was almost.
Yeah, it was about flat.
It didn't look good.
You can't have that again.
But again, yeah.
But well, I mean,
you go back to the 18
you think
years
about
old against Big Ten defenses,
Sure.
like
Absolutely.
Graciano's trying to game plan against you. Like that has to suck.
Absolutely.
and I mean, 2 of those interceptions, if I recall correctly, were like
Just took out of his hand.
they were just like
Yeah.
ripped out of the receiver's hands for interceptions. So like that's
And-
all just
Yeah, ripped out of
Those
their
were
hands.
his first 2, actually.
Again, I come back to pressure on a receiver room.
I mean, and here's the thing. I've watched enough Nebraska opponents dink and dunk their way down the field. Little passes here, little passes there. They run the clock. They do the correct things just to take Nebraska's offense off the field. Like what's the percentage on the offensive coordinator?
Dude,
Dana
for sure.
Holgerson, how much of this relies on
Yeah.
just doing the smart, small things? You don't have to go out there. This does not need to be a Heisman candidate season for Dylan Raiola. We just need to control the clock and stop throwing the ball to the other team.
Well, you remember there was like a month stretch last year where it was screen pass, screen pass, screen pass, screen pass,
Yeah.
screen pass, screen pass. And it's like, where's the crossing route? Like,
Right.
We can't even do a crossing route.
The slants were non-existent.
Yeah.
Right.
But then you get Holgerson in there and it
Until
looks
Dana
a
shows
little
up.
different. You know, you put up 40 plus against Whiskey. Iowa was you know, USC
And that goes
at
to your
USC
receiver
was
point.
meh.
Iowa was catch
Remember
the fucking ball.
Isaiah Nayer's drop?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that would have.
That's one of your receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
Just-
that.
But it shouldn't come down to one play.
I don't have that video
yeah.
saved on my phone at
Dylan's
all.
got to make throws.
That's
His deep ball
It's-
accuracy.
and-
Big time.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. But Mike, what you just said is it shouldn't come down to one play. And I
Mhm.
agree with that. But it doesn't matter who you're a fan of, what program, what player, it doesn't matter. A lot of games do. They do. I mean, I continuously use, we're building a mosaic. Each play is one little piece of a big like picture here. But sometimes it does. And that's something we have to accept, is that sometimes games do come down to one play. And when we talk about the Nair drop, that was a pretty big piece.
Right.
So
I was rewatching the Iowa game on like Big 10 60 or whatever
Why'd
one
you
day
do
in my
that?
office. I literally just saw Nebraska Iowa on. I was like, oh, I'll just watch it.
off.
Whatever.
Click off. Off.
But
break your TV.
several times it's always come down to one play, and it's usually a field goal. Several times.
Or the
Oh,
mysterious fake muffed punt that never was actually touched by us first. But whatever. Like, we're going to just let that.
If you're ever
But-
watching a Big 10 and 60 and you're watching Nebraska, Iowa, just assume it's a
Click.
field goal.
Yeah.
Just assume, it ends in a
Click.
field goal.
Yeah, I
And
know
just
how they
move
end.
on.
Okay, so we've got about 4 minutes left. Steve, what I wanted to ask you was in spring for football, what are you looking for on in the football program that gives you a good sign moving into the season?
or maybe what's a bad sign where you're like, whoa, this might not be the regular third year for Matt Rule?
The easy answer is just the quarterback situation, but because we've already talked about him a lot, we don't need to go through that. But another huge part of everything that I look at is just the line of scrimmage play, both on the offensive line and the defensive line. Like, I always ask myself, like, are those solid units? And if they're solid units, usually you're gonna have an okay start, an okay foundation for both your offense and defense. So when you look at Nebraska, like the interior line, if I close my eyes and imagine who's going to be out there at center and both guards, like it's really strong.
And who's that? Who's your picture? If you're going to drop your starting 5 offensive line right now, too early prediction, go.
Too early prediction. So let's just start with the interior. I'm pretty solid with that. I at least I think I am. I think Justin Evans is probably going to win the starting center job.
Yep.
I think Rocco Spindler is going to slide right into right guard and be just fine. I think Henry Lutovsky is going to make the switch from right to left guard.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's like controversial or anything, but so I think it's going to be Lutovsky, Evans, and then Spindler. Left tackle. This is where we get crazy.
Pritchett. Hey.
Pritchett.
I like it.
I think Elijah Pritchett was brought in to be the starting left tackle.
I agree.
And so that leaves right tackle. I'm thinking Gunnar Gatula.
That's kind of like
but the thing is how is Teddy Prohaska gonna rehab with his ACL? How Turner Corcoran with his hamstring? Like, what is Turner even gonna be in the fall? Like, we don't know. But I think Gunnar Gatula, he just had like standard offseason shoulder surgery. I think he's gonna hit the ground running again at fall camp, and I think he's worked at both right tackle and left tackle. I think he's maybe going to be one of the leaders in clubhouse for right tackle. But also don't forget Tyler Canuck too.
Yeah,
he's a guy who's been in this program, former Utah transfer. He's been in here at Nebraska, entering his 3rd season. Right now is his time to shine, to show Donovan Ryle that he can actually contribute at this program and play meaningful snaps on game days.
The one thing about Gatula, and I was talking to Sam Hahn, former Husker, yesterday about this. The only thing that worries me a little bit about Gatula is they really protected him.
They did
at the end of the season,
with
like
Mazuka.
with Mazuka, and they were like crucial passing downs. You have Mazuka playing left tackle, who's never even played tackle in his career, coming in for Gatula, which worries me, and it worried Sam as well. It's like, okay, are you doing that because he doesn't have the feet to play tackle at this level? And that worries me a little bit. I do like the Tyler Canuck thing.
Yeah.
And he's good for depth.
Yeah. I think
he really wanted Tyler Canuck on the roster just to like be there just in case shit hits the fan.
But I don't know. I think Teddy's the biggest question mark.
Oh, for sure.
Because if he could just turn back time and play as well as he did as a freshman, that was just a tall, large Bambi.
Hard to
and
get
didn't know what he was doing, but he was doing well at it. Like, if he could just stay healthy and start at right tackle, I think this O-line would be really good.
Well, turn back time.
Mike,
you can't.
Using Mazuka to protect Gatula on those passing downs.
Yeah.
I would tell you if that was what was happening later in the season,
There's
no way that between seasons, that's not what they're working on. Like that they are going to be working on that and trying to fix that so they can use him in that role.
I agree, but I'm just saying.
I was wondering. I asked myself the same thing. Like, I started seeing him rotate like every other series, like later on in the season. And like, why is that? Could it be because he's just a freshman out there and it's his first season of actually playing an incredibly important position, left tackle, defending your starting quarterback 5 stars blindside? That's a very, very tough job, and you have a freshman out there doing it,
going in and playing. And he's also
and Mazuka really.
What Mazuka? What?
He's an interior lineman, and they were just
a
out
good
there.
guard. He's great guard.
He's a good guard, but he was out there playing left tackle, like you said, for the first time. Like, I don't know if he's ever played left tackle at college before he got here.
I think
Ben Scott's played left tackle before too. Like, you always wondered, like, well, why didn't they move Evans inside and then maybe put Ben Scott out at left tackle? Like, it's just weird. The Gatula thing is head scratching of the way they handled him in crucial situations last season.
So bottom line, do we Timdy? Do we trust in Donnie? Well, I guess it'd be.
I think he's a good coach.
I think he's good.
Tid.
Do we titter?
Yeah, titter. Trust in Uncle Donnie. Yeah. I think so. I think
no choice.
The body of work has been considering what he's had to work with, right? And this is like his first. Isn't this like his first year where you could really say like this is his squad?
Yeah.
Right. He's been here a few years.
I think last year's his squad.
Yeah.
But you also, there was a lot going on.
There's a lot
but he was
going on.
carryover. So like, because
Yeah.
that was
And-
last year was year 2 of Matt Rule.
And you
So-
got Talmua and you got
Oh, I love
Bricks and,
Preston
you know,
Talmua.
like
I
this
want
is like
Grant
these are-
Bricks to figure it out. That's what I want.
Well,
There's your
Sure.
sneaky guy, right?
Yeah, you hope so. You hope he figures it out. But I'm just wondering where Grant Brix's future is on the O line. Is he a tackle all the way, or is he
A guard.
maybe better for guard?
He's
I don't
big,
know
though.
yet. Oh yeah,
Tall.
he's huge. Yeah, he looks great.
Yeah.
They all look great.
They all
yeah, the all bus team.
all bust
Every
every
year.
year.
Preston Talmua. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Yeah, really. Like I think he's trimmed up a little bit, lost some of the fat that he came in here with. Yeah, I'm really high on Preston Talmua. I don't think he's going to play. I don't think he should play.
I don't want him to. Don't want him to.
I don't want
No.
him to until like year 3 maybe.
Yeah.
But,
No. Keep.
No.
I want Teddy. That's what I want. I want Teddy to
That's gonna
stay
be so
healthy
tough.
and play right tackle.
How tall is he? 7 feet.
Too tall.
He's listed at 6'10", but he's
Can't
probably
trust it.
6'9".
Can't trust it.
Nice.
Sorry.
Okay, so I guess real quick as we kind of close up here, defensive line. This
Yeah.
is something that, I mean, new defensive line coordinator,
Gotta
new
do everything
defensive
over there.
coordinator. I mean, it's all new over there. So what are we looking at?
How are you going to replace the 2 center blocks in the middle with Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmacher? So, I do like the pieces that they have, but a lot of them are young and a lot of them are untested. Or I should say they haven't been leaned on as much as they're going to be leaned on in the fall. And that just raises questions. Williams Winari looks fantastic again, but again, he might have the support here that he did not have at Missouri last year as a true freshman. So he provides an obvious pass rush guy on the edge. But there's just a lot of question marks kind of along with the new D-line coach with Terry Braden. I really like Terry Braden. But there's just, whenever you lose 2 guys like Ty and Nash, it's going to be hard, especially in the Big Ten when opposing offenses might notice that and test your guys up front, the new replacements, and run right down your throat. So I like the pieces.
Okay.
Can't argue with any of that.
Nope.
No.
Great potential there.
Yes,
Just
potential.
kind of untested. and all
Keyword
that.
potential.
That's the thing, right? It's always potential.
Always potential.
Always.
On paper.
Jesus.
On
Yeah.
paper, we should be.
Hey.
We always say the talent's never been the issue.
It's not the issue.
Hey, welcome to April.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Good thing we've
potential.
got 5 more months of this crap.
Shit.
Yeah, springtime is the time for like the word potential.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, Steve, if you could just tell our audience where they can find you.
Yeah.
Not your address.
Okay.
Your social.
You're saying you
your
don't want
content?
my home address.
Listen.
Your socials, your
If you're-
content, your social. Like,
Yeah.
number?
My
Okay.
Twitter handle is just at Steve_Marik. Pretty simple, Marik for that weird last name. I know it's weird, but Steve_Marik, and then InsideNebraska.com, ParRivals.com. We do an excellent job. We work our asses off to cover everything. So
we love it.
thanks for having me on.
Thank
guys.
you.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate
coming
you.
on.
Yeah.
Okay, people out there, go follow us and be in our podcast on every social media platform. We have the same handle to make it easy for you. Go to our Spotify, go to our Apple podcast, give us a 5-star review, please. We are at 99 reviews on Spotify at 4.9. So we have one fucking hater out there.
One hater.
One. So
It
we're
was
almost at
Kyle.
100. It was me. Oklahoma State really changed you.
Yeah.
Mike said that at 100 reviews, he'll get a face tat.
That's not what I said.
So many face tats, Mike.
I know.
Yeah, I'm
He's
just
really
the
just
crown right here.
Yeah,
the crown. Yeah. He's selling that
Yeah.
face out for nothing.
Make sure you guys go subscribe to us on YouTube, because that's what we are working on, is our YouTube channel.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
YouTube's important.
It's tough, man. That's a tough business.
Yeah.
It's cutthroat.
It is.
Well, honestly, so I stopped listening to us on Spotify, and I now watch our episodes on YouTube.
That's what I do too.
It's way funnier because you can actually see our dumb faces. So like when I say something stupid, Jared flips me off every time. You can see that. You can see what happens in the studio if you watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
I flip you off a lot.
You do. Yeah, you do.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Draft Top, Heard at Sports Bar. Thank you for the pizza. Might have a new sponsor.
We'll see.
Did they send you the shit or not?
We've got things in the works.
We got some things in the works.
Okay.
Some things in the works.
I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cadillac.
Kyle Byers.
And Steve Marik out of Rivals.com.
Woo! As always, beat
The spring.
Stay healthy.
fulfill your potential in GBR.